Hello students, let me welcome you to a lesson in Civics through the Virtual Training Center of the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. My name is Shraddha Teacher and this is a lesson under the Work from Home sessions. Now children, we have been doing many lessons in history and in English together here. This will be the first lesson that we will do in Civics. So now what is civics? You have been learning many points about civics and many topics on civics in standard 6th also, isn't it? So civics is something to do with the way we live in society. So today's lesson will be the first lesson in your civics portion, that is Introduction to our Constitution. So in this lesson we are going to talk about how India as a country became free, and we will talk a little bit about the British rule and the number of states in our country at that particular time, and how the leaders of those times felt that there should be a system or there should be a set of rules in place in order to run this vast country. Okay, so today's lesson will be about how our country is run or how our country is administered. Okay, how the administration and how the rules, regulations, etc. for the government is, and why is it necessary, why should we have rules and regulations for the government, and all these things we will learn today under the lesson Introduction to our Constitution. Now children, we all have studied previously in younger classes, that is when we were in the 5th standard, 6th standard, etc., that all of us follow certain rules in society, isn't it? We all have a set of regulations, that is, for example, if you move out on the road, there are rules that you follow regarding traffic, isn't it? At home also there are certain rules, the time you go to sleep, the amount of time that you're supposed to study. So there are many different rules that we follow, okay, in school as well as outside, at home, on the road, in a public place. So what are rules? Rules are statements which say that you can do certain things and you cannot do certain other things. So if you are able to do something and that is not against the rule, then it is okay. But if you do something and it is against the rule, then you cannot do that. Alright? Now just like you have rules for the classroom, rules for the school, okay, rules for the family. Certain times there are rules that we follow in a family also. In the same way, rules are essential for running the country also. Do you think it is possible to run such a big nation without any rules? So in your home also your mummy sets rules, isn't it? That whatever is served on your plate, you have to finish eating it. Or you cannot watch TV for more than 2 hours. So there are so many rules that are there in the house. In the same way, there are certain rules which are there for running the country. Now the rules which your mummy makes at home, they are not written, isn't it? She tells you that these are the rules. But the rules that are made for running the country are written down. And those rules are called as the Constitution of India. Those rules are written under a book which is called as the Constitution. Alright, so a constitution is what? A constitution is a written document. I told you, your mummy tells you things orally. She doesn't write down the rules for you. But the rules for running the country are written down. So that is called as the Constitution. And what is the Constitution? This is a very simple and easy definition of the Constitution. So a Constitution is a written document that creates a government and describes how that government is to work and run. So it tells the government, like your mummy tells you in school, your teacher tells you in school, and your mummy tells you at home. The Constitution tells the government how it is supposed to function. It lists the powers that the government has, okay, and also the responsibilities of the government. So what is it? It is nothing, just you should connect the Constitution with the rules that you have in school and the rules that you have at home. But this is written, and it is also on a larger scale because our country is a very large country, isn't it? So once again, let us read the definition of a constitution. So a constitution is a written document that creates a government and describes how that government is to work and run. It lists the powers the government has and also its responsibilities. Okay, so the government does not only have the powers, it also has got a lot of responsibilities. And all the rules which are necessary for running our country, India, is mentioned under the Constitution of India. So see, this is how the Constitution of India, or the book on the Constitution of India, looks like. Can you see? Now we will learn more about the Constitution. We will learn what is there in this book and what does it tell us and what was the procedure in order to make the Constitution. Alright? So in the Constitution we have provisions. Provision means laws. Regarding what? We have laws regarding various things. We have laws regarding citizenship, that is, who should become a citizen, who should not become a citizen of our country. Okay? Rights of the citizen. After you become a citizen of a country, what rights do you have in this country? Okay? And also about the various laws which are made by the country, about elections which are conducted in the country, about the various states in the country and how these states function, what are the powers which the states have, what is the power which the central government has. So all these things, we have rules regarding all these things in the Constitution, and these are called as the provisions in the Constitution. Now children, is it so that only in India we have this kind of a constitution? It is not so. There are constitutions adopted by all countries almost around the world. So see, this is a copy of the Constitution of the United States, okay, or America as we call it. This is a copy of the Constitution of Japan. Now children, there is a lot of difference between the Constitution of India and the Constitution of the United States or the Constitution of Japan. Why? Because we have different backgrounds, you can say. Each country is unique. Every country has its own problems. Every country has its own culture. We have our own history and tradition. That is why the constitution of different countries can also be different. But then what every country tries to do? Every country tries to create a constitution which is best for the development of its citizens. Okay? Now let us try and see why this constitution is necessary. Is it so compulsory that we should have this kind of a constitution? Let us try and see. So we need a constitution to govern a country properly. So govern a country means to run a country. Okay? So if you want to govern or if you want to run a country properly, then you need to have a constitution. It also defines the nature of the political system of a country. Now in our country, children, we have a democracy. It is a government of the people, for the people and by the people. So that is our system, political system. We have a democratic system. So another country might have another system, alright? So the constitution of a country defines the nature of the political system of that particular country. Sometimes there are so many issues in our surroundings, okay? Some things which are good for us, some things which are bad for us, which may cause harm to us, okay? So the constitution tries to guard us against all these things which might be harmful for us, for our growth and for our development as citizens. Now what happens, sometimes the government has to function at various levels. So in our country, the government functions on 3 levels: the executive, the legislature and the judiciary. Now all these organs of the government, organs means parts of the government, or you can say departments of the government, if they go against the benefit of the people, or if they try to act against the, you can say, welfare of the people, then the constitution will punish them. So they cannot act against the constitution. So what is the importance of constitution? Basically, constitution is for giving power to the government so that it can work, and also restrict the government or stop the government in case it tries to conduct some kind of behavior which is not good for the citizens of that particular country. Alright, so this is about the need for a constitution. So a constitution is necessary so that the government can function properly. Constitution also defines the nature of the political system in a country. It helps us to guard against something which is not good for the citizens of the country, and also it allows or it compels the organs of the government to function within the constitution. So all these points are, children, very, very important. And remember, all this means what? All this means that in one way or the other, what is the necessity of the constitution? Constitution is necessary for the proper administration of the country. So administration of the country here means making laws for the people in the country, defending boundaries of the country. Now you must be knowing, if you watch TV or if you read the newspaper once in a while, or you must be hearing your parents discussing, there is a lot of trouble happening at our border with China, and India has taken so many steps in order to see that China doesn't enter our boundary. Okay, so we are defending our boundary. Alright, so defending our boundary to eradicate poverty from the society, that is to see to it that the condition of the people become better. Alright, administration also means providing employment for the people, giving people in this country jobs, okay, giving people in this country education, giving people in this country proper health services, and also developing the commerce and the industry in our country. So a government, see, it has got so many duties to do, isn't it? It has to make laws, it has to defend the boundaries, it has to prevent, or you can say it has to lessen the poverty in the country, it has to provide employment, education, health benefits to the people living in the country, okay, and it also has to see that India develops as far as commerce and industry are concerned. So what does the constitution do? It provides or help to the government. It provides guidelines to the government in order to do all these activities. Okay. Now let us try to go back a little bit into the background, and let us try and see how this constitution was made. Okay, we will talk a little bit into history now about the British Raj and how the British ruled India and how the constitution was made. So you can see this is a very important page where a lot of things about the Indian constitution is available for you for your understanding. So the Constituent Assembly was the group that went on to make the constitution. How was it done? It was done in 11 sessions, that is, they met 11 times. They discussed for 165 days. And how many members were there? There were 299 members. Alright? Now the Indian constitution is the longest written constitution in the world. There are many countries which have their own constitutions, but India has got the distinction of having the longest written constitution in the world. It provides 6 fundamental rights to its citizens, and there is a preamble also which tells you about what is there in the constitution. And one very important point is we have Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who is called as the architect of the Indian constitution because he had a lion's share in framing and in implementing this constitution. So this is about the constitution of our country. Let us go back and see what is the meaning of the Constituent Assembly. So I told you the Constituent Assembly is this particular group of people who came together in order to write this constitution. So they have not written it directly, okay? They must have studied so many things. For example, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, he studied the constitutions of different countries, and he also thought about how should India's constitution be written. And along with him, there were 298 other members who helped him in this work. So totally there were 299 members in the Constituent Assembly of our country. Now you know, children, that India was governed by the Britishers, okay, and India became independent on the 15th of August 1947. Before that, India was divided into provinces. So the British ruled India and the British divided us into provinces. So we have the Bombay province, we have the Bengal province and the Madras province. Now the names of all these places have changed. Bombay is now Mumbai, Madras is now Chennai, okay, and Bengal is now just a part of the eastern part of India. Otherwise you can see here Bengal means almost the entire northern belt was considered as Bengal. You will also see that there were 565 princely states when India became free. So all these orange patches that you can see here, all these were the princely states. Okay, how many princely states were there? There were 565 princely states in India when the partition happened. After India became free, all these people were brought together and these princely states were governed by the princes. So you can see Rajkumar, as we call them. They were governed by these princes, they were governed by the Nawabs. Okay, so our leaders of those times, they brought all these people together and they made India as one nation. And then we had all these members working tirelessly under the Constituent Assembly of India in order to bring this book into existence, which is called as the Constitution. And now you can see here this person, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He was the president of the Constituent Assembly. Alright, and you have Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. And I already told you that he had a very you can say major share, and he had studied in depth the constitution of various nations, and he had thought a lot about the situation of India and what kind of rules should be set for governing India. Okay, and the draft of the constitution was prepared by him. Draft means a rough copy of the constitution was prepared by him. He also had a lot of contribution towards making the constitution. That is why he is also called as the architect of the Indian constitution. So that was about the important people who were involved. So the few important people we will look at. We cannot look at the names of all the 299 members. So we talked about Rajendra Prasad ji, who was the president, and we have Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who was a chairperson. Along with that, we had so many other people who worked tirelessly day and night for developing the constitution. We had Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Maulana Azad, Sarojini Naidu, and many such stalwart leaders who went on and who helped in framing and in preparing this great book called as the Constitution of our country. So, the making of the Constitution is looked at now. The India as a country adopted the Constitution on the 26th of November 1949, and we started commencing, that is, we started living according to the Constitution on 26th of January 1950. So, November 26th is called as the Constitution Day, and 26th January, children, like we all know, is called as the Republic Day of India. Alright, it was on this day that we started working, or we started functioning, or we started adopting the provisions which are given in the Constitution. So this was a lesson based on the introduction to the Constitution of our country. We talked about what is the Constitution, why it is needed, and how all countries have constitutions, but they are all different based on the special nature of that country. We also talked about the background to how Indian Constitution came into existence, the Constituent Assembly, the various dates, the various people, etc. involved in the making of the Constitution of this country. So that was all for today, children, from the Virtual Training Center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. Till we meet